This is no way for political campaigns to treat their own workers. Debts run up by Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton made news. But smaller campaigns stiff workers, too. Jason Ross is the founder and owner of Hockomock Digital in West Bridgewater, Massachusetts. In 2024, I was left waiting months for a political campaign to pay me more than $20,000 for services I'd already delivered. The campaign lost, the money dried up, and suddenly my calls weren't being returned. It wasn't my first campaign, and unfortunately, it wasn't the first time I'd seen this happen. I want to be clear, I am blessed with an overwhelming majority of clients who do right by me. Almost all the campaigns I've worked with, providing advice, management, and digital advertising services, have honored their commitments without issue, and I'm deeply grateful for that support. But the few who ignore contracts or delay payment undermine not only their vendors but also the trust their candidates ask voters to place in them. I'm hardly alone. Across the country, campaigns large and small have left a trail of unpaid bills. Cities from Tucson to Green Bay say President Donald Trump's recent campaigns failed to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for police and public safety costs. Hillary Clinton's 2008 presidential campaign was widely criticized for stiffing vendors and dragging unpaid debts for years. And these are just the high-profile examples that make the news. Like mine, most don't. A young organizer in New England, after months of knocking on doors, told me that one campaign begged him to wait for his final stipend as they desperately fought the end of the race. He did. The candidate lost, and the organizer never got paid. A local mail vendor told me he has been burned so many times he now requires full payment up front. These are not isolated anecdotes, they reveal a troubling pattern in a profession that preaches accountability but often fails to practice it. The problem stems from a culture where campaigns, once over, dissolve overnight. They leave behind no human resources department, no collections agency, no guarantee of fairness. Candidates who drop out or don't win often disappear from public view, leaving consultants, staffers, and small business owners to absorb the loss. And even when legal remedies exist, few have the time or money to chase down what they're owed. Nationally, there's no reliable data on how much campaign debt goes unpaid, but anecdotal evidence suggests it's substantial. The Federal Election Commission allows campaigns to carry debt indefinitely, meaning many simply never close their books. The Freelancers Union has long noted that independent contractors in politics are especially vulnerable because they operate outside traditional employment protections. It's time for reform, at both the structural and cultural levels. The FEC could require campaigns to place vendor payments in escrow before major expenditures are approved. States could mandate financial disclosure rules that make outstanding debts public, just like donations. Donors and party committees could also help by conditioning future support on candidates with a record of paying their bills in full. Political candidates pride themselves on standing up for the underdog, for fairness and transparency. Paying the people who make that possible shouldn't be optional. They like to call their campaign vendors partners in democracy. Partners deserve better. If campaigns can raise millions to saturate the airwaves with ads, they can afford to pay the people who helped get them there. The integrity of our politics depends on it. Direct and formal. This is suitable for a news report or a formal statement. This is no way for a political campaign to treat its own workers. This is an unacceptable way for a political campaign to treat its staff. The manner in which this political campaign is treating its workers is completely unjustifiable. Stronger and more critical. This conveys a greater sense of outrage. It is utterly unconscionable for a political campaign to treat its own workers this way. The treatment of workers by this campaign is a disgrace. This is a shocking way for a political campaign to treat the very people working to get it elected. Conversational and direct. This is how you might say it in a discussion or on social media. This is no way to treat your own campaign staff. What a terrible way for a campaign to treat its workers. I can't believe a campaign would treat its own team like this. Key vocabulary. Campaign, the organized effort to get a candidate elected. Workers/staff/team, refers to the employees and volunteers. Treatment, how the workers are being managed and cared for. Unacceptable/unconscionable/disgraceful, strong adjectives to condemn the action. 1. For a speech or political commentary. This treatment of the campaign's own staff is a blatant betrayal of the very values they claim to stand for. It is astounding that an organization which demands utmost dedication and sacrifice can treat its workforce with such disrespect and exploitation. 2. From an ethical or labor rights perspective. When a political campaign chooses to exploit, overwork, and undervalue its own workers, it doesn't just harm those employees, it undermines its entire moral foundation. This is no way to run any organization, let alone one seeking to hold public trust. 3. Using a rhetorical question for criticism. How can any campaign expect to earn the trust of the voters when they demonstrate such a profound disrespect for the very people dedicating themselves to the cause? Their treatment of staff isn't just a matter of poor management, it is a clear reflection of the campaign's character and integrity. 4. A complete paragraph for social media or a blog post. We are once again seeing a political campaign treat its staff as disposable tools. To foster a toxic work environment, with unsustainable pressure and a lack of support, reveals a stunning level of hypocrisy. These campaigns demand absolute loyalty from volunteers and staffers, yet fail to grant them basic respect or decent working conditions. This is no way to treat any human being, and it reveals what they truly value, and it isn't people. 5. Focusing on the human cost and morale. This relentless disregard for well-being inevitably breeds burnout and cynicism, poisoning the campaign from within. These workers signed up fueled by idealism, only to be met with the same cold indifference they hoped to fight. A campaign that breaks the spirit of its most ardent supporters has already lost, no matter the election's outcome. 6. A warning about practical consequences. Beyond the moral failure, this is a profound strategic miscalculation. Demoralized staff cannot effectively communicate a message of hope, exploited organizers cannot build genuine community trust. The hypocrisy in their operations will eventually seep into their public messaging, making their promises ring hollow to an increasingly aware electorate. 7. A call for accountability and standards. It is time we demand the same standards of integrity and treatment from our political campaigns that we would from any employer. The pursuit of power does not justify the abandonment of basic human decency. Holding campaigns accountable for how they treat their workers isn't a partisan issue, it's a fundamental test of their fitness to lead.